I guess she
Oh,
wrote the book, right?
yes, and then it
In
became a TV
1968. And
program.
then in the
Yeah,
70s, you probably got
yeah.
oh, I can see the videos here that they have some videos on YouTube.
Right. And they actually did a record, a song about the Wombles of Wimbledon Common, and it actually got into the charts. So they were quite popular at that
That's
stage.
funny.
So I named my pony Orinoco. I had him for 4 years. I called him Orinoco because that it was in the early 70s. So the Wombles, have you heard of the Wombles?
No,
It it was something they used to, it was oh, how do I describe it? It was a storybook that had then been put onto telly,
okay.
and they were called the Wombles of Wimbledon Common, and they would clear the rubbish away on Wimbledon Common, and they were little furry creatures with pointy noses, and
It was a
and
cartoon, I would imagine. Animated?
actually they weren't. They were
Puppet?
puppet, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
I always like that. I like the
yeah,
animated puppet things. Yeah.
yeah. So that was Orient because that was in the 70s. So I can't remember the name of the author of the book.
Yeah, in the 70s. How you spell it?
Wombles, Wombles. The
Wombles of
Wombles of
Wimbledon. The
Wimbledon
Wombles of
Common.
Wimbledon.
That's the
Uh,
ones. They lived in holes in Wimbledon Common, and they would go and clear all the rubbish. And there
yeah.
was
Let's
Orinoco
see.
was the one I liked best, and then there was
Elizabeth
Tobermory.
Beresford,
I had that name in my head, and I'm thinking, no, I'm not sure that's true. But I had
1968 is when she did it. I guess she
oh,
wrote the book, right?
yes, and then it
In
became a TV
1968. And
program.
then in the
Yeah,
70s, you probably got
yeah.
oh, I can see the videos here that they have some videos on YouTube.
Right. And they actually did a record, a song about the Wombles of Wimbledon Common, and it actually got into the charts. So they were quite popular at that
That's
stage.
funny.
Yeah, Madame Cholet and Great Uncle Bulgaria, Tomsk. Can't remember the other. I think that's most of them. So I named my pony Orinoco, you see.
I will tell you who the characters were.
I
I
think I
hate when
can't
I look something up and it takes me to the history. I didn't ask you for the history, I asked you for the
remember
characters.
the names.
Great Uncle Bulgaria,
Bulgaria. Yeah, yeah.
Orinoco,
Orinoco, that was mine, my pony.
Tobermory,
Tobermory, yeah.
Madame Cholet,
Cholet, yeah.
Tomsk,
Tomsk, yeah.
Bungo,
Uh-huh.
Wellington,
Oh, Wellington, I've forgotten him.
and Alderney.
Oh, don't remember that one at all.
She's Madame Cholet's helper,
Oh, okay.
or he, maybe, I should say.
I don't
She
know.
was
That one.
featured heavily in later television adaptations and books.
Oh, okay.
That's
So
why
he
it's
wasn't one of
maybe
the
a
original.
character that's not so. Then
He
you
was
would
in
have
Paris, though.
recurring characters like Chauncey,
So,
Step
I got-
Stephanie, and cousin Cairngorm McWobble. Cairngorm. Cousin
Okay.
Cairngorm. He was a Scottish Wombly.
Womble, wobbly,
Womble,
womble,
sorry.
womble,
He was a Scottish Womble visiting
womble.
from the Highlands.
Right. I don't remember those
Cousin
at all.
McWomble.
Yes.
That's funny.
Oh my gosh. But they were little grey furry creatures that sort of have they got pictures? Have you got pictures there of
Yes,
them?
I can see them.
Yeah.
I can see them.
So Orinoco had a hat on, didn't he?
Yes, Bungo looks like he's Scottish too.
Oh, does he? Okay.
An excitable, bossy Womble with a great sense of humor.
I did
I'll put some photos in.
Yes.
In Canada, we had something kind of similar, but it was called the raccoons. They were the raccoons.
Okay. Yeah.
Um, and we had one that was more CGI than like puppet or whatever. That was
C
called Theodore Tugboat.
what's CGI?
CGI is computer graphic interface, like
Oh,
done by
okay.
computer.
Right.
So we
Yeah.
have Theodore Tugboat, which is a more recent thing.
Okay.
We had Franklin, who's a turtle, and
Right.
we have a little bear, the little bear. But we had different things with hosts, like shows with
Mm.
hosts. So these are Canadian only, like not American, because there's tons of American ones.
Mm.
But in Canada, we had the Friendly Giant. So
Okay.
there was this guy, his name was Bob Home, and
Yeah.
or in French, Homme, but he was
Okay.
not of French descent, but he had a French last name, but
Yeah.
he pronounced it home, Homme.
Mm.
Anyway, he was, because he was full size, he was like a giant, and he would invite the children to his castle, and he'd look at picture books and listen to music. And then he had these little puppet friends. Okay.
Right.
And so the puppet friends, obviously being small, made him look like a giant, right? By
Right.
comparison. So that's why
Yeah.
they called him the friendly giant. Used to have, I think, Mr. Dress Up, but I can't remember. Mr. Dressup he was a really nice guy too. I remember him. He was a really cherished cultural icon in this country. And he was like a really warm and friendly guy who had this really great imagination. And he too had little puppet friends, right? So he like I mean that literally went from 1967 to like the mid to late 90s. And
Wow.
it
20
for so
years.
ran for like I don't know 30 some years or 30 years almost. And
60,
basically from this
68, did you say?
1967 I think to 96.
So 60, 70, 70, 80. Yeah, nearly yeah, sorry.
Nearly 30 years. And
Yeah. Wow.
basically, and then he died. I can't remember when he died, but basically, like everybody loved Mr. Dressup. But he was a very, like, really friendly guy. And in beginning, I remember when I started watching him, and well, I was born in 66, and he basically started the year after I was born. So let's say early 70s. But he would
Yes.
wear like, polka dot shirt and a bow tie and a little vest and
Yeah.
I'll
Yeah.
put pictures in of him too in here.
Yeah.
But those were the ones that we had. And then there was a lot of other American ones that well, we could watch like Mr. Rogers and, things like that.
Yeah.
But
I
they were
can't
more
remember.
with not just like the things, they were more with a host, a person, a real person.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. I can't, except for the fact that I called my pony after one of the Wombles. I can't really, I wouldn't probably know that much about them anymore. But I mean, I'm talking the 60s, 70s.
Yeah, the Wombles, that's what
Mm.
it said was in the.
Yeah. But then we used to watch things like Doctor Who.
Oh, I loved watching Doctor Who. I started watching Doctor Who right away as soon as I started watching television by myself.
I saw the very original first episode of Doctor Who live.
Yeah,
I was baby
I get
before you
that.
were born.
Yeah,
So it was
yeah, I'm gonna tell
60
you, I wasn't born, but I watched that original episode like on
subsequently.
like separately on either video or something or some
Yeah.
kind of like YouTube or Netflix or something.
Mm,
I'm I really
yeah.
came in maybe I remember him, the first guy. He was only there 2 years.
Sorry, I've lost.
I'll tell you what his name was.
Hmm?
Hold on.
What the Doctor Who character?
Yeah,
The
William
actor.
Hartnell. Okay, he was
Yeah.
the original one. He was the
He was
very
the
first
original.
doctor.
Yes.
Um, but he only was there for 3 years,
62, did he start?
63 to
63.
66.
Right. Yes.
Okay. So I
Mm.
don't remember him, like I only know him because of the after the fact that I
Subsequently.
watched old
Yeah.
reruns after.
Yeah.
Um, I came in more in, I think either the second Doctor or
I can't remember.
I'll tell you, hold on. As soon as I see all their faces, because I know mo almost all of them in order because I watched most of them.
Right.
Um, okay,
Um,
yes. I watched from the second Doctor going forward a little
who
bit.
was
His
what was
name
it?
was Patrick Patrick
Yeah.
Troughton.
Troughton. Yes.
Yeah,
Patrick Troughton.
okay. And then
Yeah.
I think my favorite Doctor, because it was more, I was really starting to watch it much more. And so when you get into a series and you start to really love it, was the
Yeah.
third Doctor, who was in 1970 to 74, was John Pertwee. And part of the reason why I loved him so much was
Yeah.
that he was almost like a James Bond version of Doctor Who.
Yeah. He was
He wore a cape.
yeah. Yeah.
He was very classy,
Yeah.
very sophisticated. He was a very good looking
Mm.
Doctor Who, I'm going to tell
Yeah.
you. I thought he was really great. So when it kind of, got to its end in the 80s, or it didn't really end, but it had let's say, a little bit of a hiatus. And
Mm.
when it came back in the 90s,
Yeah.
and then I liked the very first Doctor after that. And
I like the second one,
you liked what's his name, which everybody loved.
the Scottish
Again,
one.
because he was very good looking.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
I
the
did
one I
like the
think
first one.
everybody tends to
Yeah.
gravitate to. Um,
Yeah.
okay, so as I said, I really like the third. Then when we get to, when he comes back, Christopher Eccleston is the one I
The
kind
first
of like
one.
because he was a
Yeah.
bit more edgier, and most people like David Tennant.
Yeah.
And
Was
David
David
Tennant
Tennant?
obviously was the good-looking one, right?
Mm.
Again, sort of like the John Pertwee
Yeah.
kind of
Oh yeah.
more,
David Tennant was the
but
second one. Yeah.
different. He was more, one
Yeah.
was more suave, and David Tennant was more funny,
Yeah. Yeah.
but good-looking nonetheless.
I must confess, we did watch Christopher Eccleston and David Tennant, and I can't remember who came after that. But
That's Matt Smith. I liked Matt Smith.
I got to the stage where, having been an original Doctor Who fan, I felt like it was getting too Americanized. They were sort of actually doing too much for the American market, and it got quite complicated, and I just stopped watching it.
I'll tell you why it
The
got
later ones, I
complicated, though
watched.
I didn't mind it too much, though. I'll tell you why.
Mm,
During the period of, I'm going to say, Eccleston, Tennant, and Matt Smith,
okay, yeah,
the writer was a really good television writer, and I'll come
Brighton.
to his
Yeah,
name
yeah,
if I can look him up. Anyway, he did sort of long story arcs.
yes, yes.
Okay. So you start something here, and then it comes up here, then it comes up here, and then it gets resolved here.
It
So
ran through the background of each episode,
right.
didn't it?
Whereas when you started watching it, well, at least for the first, like,
Mm.
two
In the
decades of
beginning.
it, they
In the
were
beginning.
all individual episodes that only had a story that started there and closed there in that
Yeah.
episode. When you
Mm.
start to get a story arc, like why
Mm.
it started to answer longer questions. And that's why
Yeah.
I didn't mind it so much. Because, for example, it went back to starting to answer, like, how did the guy get here? Well, something
Yeah.
happened on his planet. Okay, what's the story of what happened on this planet? And then how does
Okay.
that come to bite him in the ass later? Or who
Mm,
are the, so it helped to bring in the characters and tie all the other characters together.
good.
Example, the Daleks,
Oh, Alex, yeah.
the Master, who I loved. I loved it later, and they made the Master was a woman. Oh, she was
Oh.
so good.
I think by then I'd stopped watching
Oh,
it.
this is definitely like more recently.
Yeah.
Um,
Because
I'll
they've
tell
made the
you.
doctor a woman. The last one, wasn't she a woman?
Yeah, well, we had Jodie Whittaker, who was the doctor, was a female.
Yeah,
And then
that's the only female doctor, wasn't it? That we've had.
I believe so, because I think they're
Yeah.
back to now to now that we have the first African American, or I don't want
Ethnic.
to say African American because he's not. He's the
Ethnic.
first African
Ethnic.
Scottish, I should say, African
Yeah.
Scottish
Mm.
actor. He is from Rwanda, I think.
Oh, is
And
he? Okay.
yeah, and well, he's obviously Scottish, but he's of Rwandan descent, I believe.
Okay.
So they have the first black doctor.
Yeah.
And that's who the doctor is right now, I believe.
Mm.
Although I haven't watched it for a few years.
What was the name of the person that was the assistant, the first one with
Oh,
Eccleston?
to Eccleston?
Yeah.
Rose.
Rose, that's
That's where
right.
they introduced Rose, and she became a very popular figure. And of course, the love, whatever, I guess, interest in a way of the doctor when
Mm.
it became when David Tennant sort of got in there.
Yeah.
The
Well, that
unrequited love.
well, that actress
Yes.
actually went to school um just down the road, a couple of
Okay.
villages over, and
Yeah.
she was in the same year as my niece and nephew. My one of my either my nephew or my niece. They were at the same school at the same time. So
Yeah. Billy Piper, you're talking
Billy
about.
Piper, that's the
Yeah.
one. Yeah,
Yeah.
she went to school local.
Yeah.
So
Very iconic character.
yes, yeah.
Yeah.
I liked her actually. I liked her in that.
She
That
was a
was
former
good.
London shop assistant.
Was she? Right.
It's
Yeah.
pretty funny. Okay, so
If
we have
you didn't
William
want,
Hartnell from 63 to 66. We have
yeah,
Patrick Troughton from 66 to 69.
right.
We have John Pertwee 70 to 74.
Yeah.
Then you have Tom Baker from
Baker. He had the
77.
scarf, didn't he?
He had
Tom
probably
Baker.
the pretty long. He was from 74 to 81.
Yeah.
Seven
He always
years.
classed himself as the Doctor Who because he was there the longest.
Correct.
But
And I remember a lot of watching a lot of him. Then
uh,
Peter Davison. I also liked
yeah,
him because he was cute from 81 to
yeah.
84.
Mm.
The sixth doctor was Colin Baker
Oh yeah. Blimey.
from 84 to 86. He was probably there the shortest.
Yeah. Yeah. Problem I found
Um,
though is that if you didn't watch back then, if you didn't watch the program when it happened, you didn't see it. And
right,
we didn't have the repeats like we can today. And back in the early 70s, I started working on Saturdays. Like I told you just a moment ago, I started earning money to pay for my pony. And I never got home in time to watch Doctor Who on the Saturday. So I'd literally from almost the beginning of John Pertwee or halfway through John Pertwee being there, I stopped watching Doctor Who because I wasn't at home to watch it.
right.
So, which is a shame. And I missed most of the later doctors as well then because of that, because I went off to college and I was doing other stuff and you know, if you literally didn't see it when it happened, you didn't see it. But
Yeah, absolutely. I also like Colin Baker. He had this
oh,
really nice curly hair.
oh,
I remember the curly hair he had. I loved his hair. Then after Colin Baker was Sylvester McCoy, who I also liked.
yes.
Now,
Wow.
Sylvester McCoy was really sort of the from 19 because Colin Baker was from 84 to 86, and then Sylvester McCoy was from 87 to 89. and then it
Right.
took a hiatus,
Mm.
okay, um, for 7 years, actually.
Stop. Yeah. You
Yeah.
mean it
Now,
stopped?
and then what happened was, I guess, audiences in North America, particularly Americans, really started to were starting to latch on to Doctor Who in the 80s, not
Yes.
before that.
Yeah.
And because of that, they made a movie, a one-time movie.
Oh, did they?
Yeah. They didn't do a series, obviously, because it was British, but they
Mm.
did a movie, and the person who played Doctor Who in that movie was Paul McGann.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then it takes a hiatus from that movie or from the series from 1989 all the way to 2005 when
Right.
Christopher Eccleston came
Okay.
in to the
Yeah, I
picture.
thought there was a long break from it, but
Right.
maybe it's because, like you said, the Americans started watching it and they were able to watch back
Right.
issues, back
Right.
programs, started going, whoa, this is amazing, this Doctor Who thing.
Right. Then
So
what they did was then David Tennant came in for 5 years, 2005 to 2010. And then
wasn't
Matt Smith came in from 2010 to
hmm,
2013. And,
right.
and then in 2013, it was the anniversary because it had started in 63.
Yeah,
And so because of the anniversary, they sort of did either one time, again, another movie or a special,
right.
but the BBC did this. And it
Okay.
had sort of Matt Smith, David Tennant, but it brought in John Hurt. And it tried to close out that. So remember that they
Yeah,
had,
John Hurt.
right? Because
Okay.
what they did was he had that writer I was talking about, he had the story arc going. And to
Yeah.
close out the story arc on the anniversary,
Mm.
they had a bit
Yeah.
of a not like necessarily a gap, but they were trying to like show the story of him and his home planet and what really happened and why did the planet, I don't know, get destroyed or whatever. And in the end, they brought in this version of the Doctor who was a future version or whatever. The reason
Yeah.
why it got destroyed was him in a different form, and that was
Right.
played by John Hurt
Ah,
for that
yes.
one time special
So,
event. Okay.
right.
And
Yes.
then in after Matt Smith, so then 2014, after the anniversary special, Peter Capaldi came in for three
Right.
years.
Yeah.
Then Jodie Whittaker, which we talked about the first Doctor from 2018 to 2022. And then I guess in 2023, they must have had something like a one-time something again because David Tennant was there again.
Oh, okay.
And then I guess he kind of introduced, or there must have been a storyline that tied him, his version of the
Yeah.
Doctor, to the new guy, who
Hmm.
is the most recent one. I
Right.
think his name Ncuti, Ncuti is how you spell it.
Okay.
What's his last name? Gatwa. Nakuti Gatwa.
It
So,
certainly has been a good longevity sort of franchise, hasn't it?
yeah,
In
and
that
you know
respect.
why that happened? All because Hartnell was sick. The original
Oh,
doctor,
so they had to swap him out, and so were able to bring in the concept of him changing.
because they didn't expect it to be so popular. Okay.
No.
First of all,
No.
one of the guys who was the writer of it was Canadian.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if you knew that.
No,
Um,
I don't.
the concept was
Mm-hmm.
conceived by a Canadian who happened to be the primary creator and head of BBC drama at that time.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
And he was Canadian. His name was Sidney Newman.
Right.
He was
Okay.
actually born in Toronto.
Okay.
And he basically is like a legendary TV producer who really revolutionized BBC because he came up with that sci-fi.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um, anyway, So basically him and two other guys, I think basically wrote the first episode.
Mm.
And they didn't, because it was so new and, nobody was watching sci-fi and BBC at that
Yeah.
time. They didn't
Yeah.
think it was gonna,
Take off. Yeah.
right. They didn't think it
Yeah.
was really gonna go anywhere.
Mm.
And then because so many people watched that first episode, and then they started doing more episodes and more episodes. But I
Mm.
think what they found out was that Hartnell was he was by then he was a very old
He
actor.
was old. Yeah, he was old. I
He was a
remember.
very big
Mm.
actor in the UK for many, many years
Yeah. Yeah.
and had done a lot of stuff. But then he kind of, how what happens with actors is they start to not get roles because they get older, and they, kind of get put by the wayside. Maybe not so much
Yeah.
in the UK as they do in America these days, but in
Yeah.
those days in Britain, he was not having a lot of parts. So
Right.
when he got that thing, because obviously they thought, well, nobody's going to watch it anyway. Okay,
Yeah.
so they gave him the part, and when he got the part, and he did it, but then he actually had
So then he wasn't going to last long in that part, then, was he?
yeah. So when they found out he was sick, they're like, well, now what are we going to do? The show is so damn popular.
It taken off by then,
We'll
yeah.
write the story that he regenerates.
Generates. Yeah. Yeah. So,
So when coming up with that idea was brilliant because you can forever have a show.
mm, yeah, because it keeps going. The thing is with Doctor Who, the standard sort of within this, I don't know whether it was same in Canada, but it was children would hide behind the settee because it was so scary, but you'd still be peeping around the corner of the settee. Do you know what I mean? It was that sort of
Yeah.
concept.
He actually
But
had arteriosclerosis and he didn't want to tell them because what I had either read it or I saw a documentary on it, I think.
hmm
And or it was a bit about a movie about him and him becoming the doctor, and that may have been a documentary or it could have been a semi-documentary where they turn it into a drama kind of thing.
yeah,
What I understood from that was that first of all he didn't want to be the doctor, but he needed money,
okay.
so of course he accepted this job,
Mm.
but reluctantly, very reluctantly.
Well, we wouldn't know who he was if he hadn't have taken it because he would have been an obsolete actor in the past, whereas
Exactly.
playing someone
Absolutely.
very
So,
famous.
but for him, I don't think it was about his fame. It was about the fact that
Yeah,
the guy was needed cash. And he was
yeah,
like, okay, let me just take this job. I'll take this job, but I don't want to do this job. It's so stupid. He thought the concept was stupid. He didn't get it or whatever. I don't know.
yeah,
And then he started to like it.
right.
And
Yeah,
that's the irony and the sadness because then he found he started to have strokes and he didn't want to tell them.
yes. Oh, bless.
And then he had to tell them, or either he had one because he missed his filming,
Mm,
whatever, or something happened, and then they realized, oh, this guy isn't gonna last.
yeah,
And they had
yeah.
to tell him, you know, sorry, not gonna happen anymore.
So was he actually in the episode where he swapped
Where
bodies,
he regenerates, I think so.
regenerated? Yeah,
Okay.
because that would be good because they do
Yeah.
normally do that. They have subsequently, but I was just thinking whether he was able to be there for that sort of thing. But
Yes, he regenerated um at the end of his thing. Yeah.
right.
Um
Hmm.
yeah, it was written obviously into the script to explain his departure due to his declining health.
Good concept. Good concept because it's just
Great
kept it going.
concept. Great
Yeah.
concept.